Hi everyone, this is Dr. Rashima and today we are going to study about bilirubin metabolism in liver. Bilirubin metabolism in liver mainly comprises of three main steps. The first one is hepatic uptake, which means how much of this unconjugated bilirubin is taken up by the liver cells. The second is conjugation, which means how much of this unconjugated bilirubin is finally converted into conjugated bilirubin. The third is excretion into the bile. This is the last step of bilirubin metabolism in liver, and it means how much of the conjugated bilirubin which is produced in the hepatocytes is moved out of the liver along with bile. Now we know that bilirubin comes into the plasma from the breakdown of RBCs, hemoproteins, and also the breakdown of cells in the bone marrow. Once this bilirubin enters the plasma, it tightly binds with albumin. And the reason for this tightly bound bilirubin to albumin is that the unconjugated and unbound bilirubin can easily cross the blood-brain barrier, and if it does that, it can really damage the brain, which the body does not want. That is why the body binds bilirubin to albumin in a very tight manner, but at the same time, it is bound in an irreversible manner, because for the unconjugated bilirubin to turn into conjugated bilirubin, it has to dissociate from albumin. Now, when this bilirubin albumin complex enters the hepatocyte, it dissociates into bilirubin and albumin. Now, on dissociation, this bilirubin molecule combines with an enzyme known as glutathione transferase, which is a very important enzyme because it prevents the moving out of bilirubin from the hepatocyte. So, in a way, it traps the bilirubin molecule inside the hepatocyte once it has entered the hepatocyte. Once this bilirubin has entered the endoplasmic reticulum of the hepatocyte, it is acted upon by a very important enzyme known as UDP glucuronylyl transferase. Now, this enzyme is the one which is responsible for converting this unconjugated bilirubin into conjugated bilirubin by adding glucuronic acid molecules to the unconjugated bilirubin molecule and forms two major forms of conjugated bilirubin, which is bilirubin monoglucuranoid and bilirubin diglucuranoid. These conjugated forms of the bilirubin are then moved out of the liver along with bile. Now, to some extent, unconjugated bilirubin still remains in the hepatocyte and is still thrown out along with the conjugated form, but this unconjugated bilirubin is then again from the bile moved out into the liver, and then the cycle of converting this into conjugated bilirubin continues. I hope this was very easy for you to understand how bilirubin albumin complex enters the hepatocyte, how it dissociates, how it is acted upon by certain enzymes, and how it is converted into conjugated bilirubin and how it is moved out of the hepatocytes along with bile. I hope you found this very easy to understand. For more such content, make sure you follow.